All right, YouTube, thanks for coming back to the channel. We're looking at a new Spyderco, kind of new, the Sage 1 in Maxamet steel. They reintroduced the Sage series after discontinuing them shortly, for a short time. The original one had that black G10 carbon fiber laminate, S30B, pretty standard. This one is a liner lock as well, but has the Maxamet steel. Now, the main reason I picked up this knife, I was very interested to see how the Taichung factory did Maxamet versus Golden, Colorado. See if there would be any differences, if they did a better heat treat or, any of those kind of things. So I mainly picked this up, and I thought for testing purposes. And I'm going to roll in some footage. I didn't record all the cutting. I recorded snippets of it just because it's a lot to record, and it did over 733 feet of cardboard, which is a freaking lot. And I talked about what kind of cardboard I use. I use the same type of cardboard for everything, for all the tests now. The original pair 3 that I did, and this was on the factory edge, mind you. The original pair 3 I did 670. So it's about a 6% increase. I would say it's pretty close. I mean, it's better, but not like, whoa, they did Maxamet way better than Golden, Colorado did. It could be a few factors. I don't think it's a big enough difference to notice, but at first I thought it was going to blow it out of the water because the fine edge holding lasted way longer. That was the interesting thing about it, is the knife came super sharp from the factory, and it did like 476 feet of cardboard on the fine edge before it wouldn't shave my arm hair anymore, and it only did another 256 after that. The pair 3 was actually kind of the opposite. It didn't hold the fine edge very long, but it held the working edge forever. Overall, the numbers, when you add them up, are about the same. They're a little bit higher on the Sage 1. So that could be varying factors. That's a lot of different things going on there. So it's not a scientific test by any means. It's bro science, right? But for me, it was just curious. One thing I will say, if you're on the fence and you're looking for a knife in Maxamet, the Sage 1 is probably the best choice. Now, there's a lot of options. There's a Native 5, there's the Mannix, there's the Para 3. You guys know I'm a big Para 3 fan. But the big difference is, out of the box, the ergonomics on the Sage 1 is better than any of those knives, in my opinion. Better than the Para 3, especially because unless you do a skinny mod, if you do a skinny mod on your Para 3, then the Para 3 is going to win for me, hands down, just because of the fidget factor of the compression lock, the handle design. The skinny handle is so comfortable in the hand. But this is kind of a skinny handle in a way. It does have this forward bump right here that I would love to just take out right here. And it works well when you use the choil, but when you're not using the choil, I just wish it wasn't there. But other than that, the handle's pretty neutral, and it works. It's comfy. I did a lot of cutting with it, especially in this grip. The hammer grip, it's insanely comfortable. Didn't really notice any hot spots. Doing that much cardboard, you're gonna feel a little bit in your hand anyway. I think I mostly felt the wire clip, which I do like the wire clip. I would say that's another advantage the Sage has, is the wire clip out of the box deep carry is way better than the Para 3 standard clip. Para 3 you have to do some tweaks too, mainly the skinny mod and the deep carry Lynch clip or MXG or the Uncle Mike's clip that I like on eBay. I would choose this Sage over that if you just want an out-of-the-box knife that's going to perform and be a good cutter. Also, the Sage is thinner behind the edge. I measured it in one of my videos, I think. I'll do it again really quick. I think it's 18 thousandths or less. Sorry, my calipers were kind of sticking there. Wow, 16 thousandths. 16 thousandths behind the edge. About 16.5. That is really good. I've gotten varying measurements, which you will with calipers, between 16 and 18 thousandths behind the edge. That's much thinner than a Para 3. A Para 3 is going to be 20 thousandths. So it's also a little bit slicier blade, full flat ground. I like the blade shape, the leaf shape a little bit better. There's just some things about it that are better, in my opinion. So I'm going to roll in some footage now of the cutting and all that stuff, and how I eventually dull it enough where it wouldn't cut paper. And then we're going to talk about something else here at the end. Stay tuned. All right, we are already 231 feet into cardboard. You can see the stack here on the Maxamet Sage 1, which has already eclipsed what I did on the Para 3. I was about 180 feet working edge. Now, working edge, fine edge, excuse me, is when it shaves. It still shaves arm hair rather easily. So I need to get my tripod to demonstrate because I can't hold my phone and shave my arm hair at the same time. I forget the lighting on this. I don't have my lighting turned on, but it's having no problem shaving my arm hair. So far, so good. Now, the Para 3 Maxamet did a total of 680 feet, 530 on the working edge, and something like that. I don't know, total 180 on the, so 550, I'm doing the math here. 680 minus 180 is 530. It did 530, or 550, excuse me, on the, no, 530, right? 680, I don't know, I'll have to look at my spreadsheet. I'm like, my brain's fried for today. But it's doing more so far. That's the whole point. So we'll see how it goes. I'm going to continue to do this test and see what the total amount is and see if it's similar. I don't know what the HRC there is running on this age one. I'll have to look that up, and I may send it in to get H Rockwell tested just to see. So if it definitely outperforms the Para 3 overall, I probably will get it sent in just to see what they're running these at. Stay tuned. All right, so we lost fine edge holding. Won't really shave arm hair anymore. At about 470 cuts, or not cuts, feet of cardboard. So that's a lot of fine edge holding. It's still cutting paper pretty reliably though, so it's snagging a little bit. So I don't anticipate too much more, but I do cut. These are what I cut. These are priority mailboxes. I just cut them down into 11 inches, or 20. These sheets that I do 11-inch long cuts, 20 of them total. It makes the math easier so I can add them up. So we're going to see how far we get with a working edge. All right, so we managed another 238 feet of cardboard before we gave up. Well, I mean, it's still cutting paper, guys. I thought a second ago it wasn't, but it's still pretty reliably cutting paper, so it's still sharp. So that's definitely surpassed my Para 3 Maxamet as far as both fine edge holding and working edge. Which is pretty nuts. So I still got more boxes left. I picked up some more from the post office today, so I may keep going. But yeah, that's a lot. It's a lot of cardboard, and I was wondering how Taichung would heat treat. Pretty dang good. This knife is also a lot thinner behind the edge. I noticed it's like 17, 18 thousandths behind the edge, whereas the Para 2, 3 is 20 thousandths. So not a ton, but it's definitely slicey, and that might have something to do with it. But yeah. Pretty impressed. Factory edge, by the way, never been sharpened. All right, I think we finally reached our point. I was able to do one more sheet. So now it's really catching. Yeah, up here you can cut still, but where we're doing the majority of the cutting, which is towards the heel, it's struggling to cut paper now. Yeah, that's not biting in right there. I mean, it's still somewhat sharp, but that's about the breaking point. So I'll do the math and come back in because I got to calculate how much one more sheet is. But it definitely, I know it's already outperformed my Para 3 Maxamet on the factory edge, which is pretty crazy. I believe the Para 3 test I did was on a sharpened edge, so even nuttier to think about that. So it definitely outperformed it, not by a ton, but probably 60 to 70 feet of cardboard, which is a good amount. Not bad. So I'll crunch the numbers and we'll wrap up the video with the numbers and talk more about that. All right, guys, so what I want to talk about is this strop. I got this in on a, you probably saw it on a video. It's the Gendy NanoCloth Ultra 1 micron. It's only labeled 1 micron just to help you like organize your strops. So when you apply compound, and it's color coordinated and it says it on there so you don't, mix them up. The compound I used is this Gunny Juice. When I first applied, this is 1 micron diamond emulsion, polycrystalline diamond emulsions. This gets really, really high ratings from a lot of knife guys that sharpen and strop and such. And when I first applied it, I applied too much, first of all, because I thought it was gonna be more of a spray applicator, which it wasn't. But once it's kind of worked its way into the material and stuff, I've been stropping knives. I've noticed a much better performance. And I've actually just stropped this Maxamet. So you saw in the cuts, I got it where it wouldn't cut paper at all. I thought I was gonna have to take to the stones, and turns out with this strop and this compound, I'm able to get it to cut paper pretty cleanly now. It still tears a little bit, but it wasn't even doing this before. It wasn't even close. I mean, it wouldn't even cut paper like that. So I'm pretty dang impressed. This is Maxamet, guys, we're talking about. Not the easiest steel to bring back to sharpness with a strop. You know, it's not like M390 is good for that. 20 CV, some more steel. A lot of those stainless steels, I feel like the tool steels for me, like the 52100 was very easy to strop back. The M4 was decent. K390, pretty good at stropping back. But I know this last time I tested Maxamet, I just couldn't get the strop back, but I wasn't using this compound or this strop. So that goes to tell you that the right strop and compound can be really game changer, because it got to the point where it was dull and I caught a ton of cardboard, right? So imagine you're using this knife as a work knife and you're processing tons of cardboard in your job, and you need to strop it, and you're like, oh, or it feels dull, won't cut paper anymore. You're like, dang it, I'm gonna have to sharpen Maxamet, which isn't bad, by the way, but some people have had issues with it. You can just strop it with this stuff. This compound is key. I think the strop is so nice feeling too, this nano cloth. It just feels so good. When you're stropping, it's just smooth, and it just feels like better than any strop that I've used before. So, and I've just done these kind of slow strokes like this, and it's brought it back to a pretty sharp edge. It'll even shave a little bit now. Not as good as it was before, but it will shave now even. So all from stropping after doing all that cutting. So really recommend these Jindy strops. They sell them on Amazon. You can get multiple different colors that have different micron ratings. So if you want to, get some different emulsions and do different ones, you can. I just did the 1 micron. I think it's a good strop. It's, I'm not really trying to polish the edge. I'm really just trying to bring the edge back. You could even go like I don't know if they offered a 4 micron. You could do something like that if you want a little bit more aggressive. But anyway, impressed with the Maxamet again. I think the Sage 1 Maxamet is really good for the money. I mean, it's $200. It's a little more expensive than the Para 3, I think. I can't remember what the Para 3 Maxamets go for these days, but out of the box, like knife, this is a great work knife. It'll do great for you. Fit and finish has been good. I did notice the action's good out of the box. It was completely centered. I did notice some rough finishing on the liner right here, on like just right along the edge of the scales. Just seemed a little rough in a few spots. Nothing big. Easily could be fixed, but overall the quality is really nice. And the G10's well done. So overall, I think the Sage 1 Maxamet is a great buy if you're looking for a good knife with a good steel that you can really use and abuse. I think it's going to be really good for that. Good ADC knife overall. All right, guys. Thanks for watching this video. I'll see you on the next one.